Ladies and gents, welcome in to the office hours. It's Friday. Let's get into it. Let me just make sure we are live everywhere. Instagram looks good. Facebook actually worked today. Thank goodness. So welcome in everybody. YouTube, LinkedIn, like everywhere. We are live streaming Friday, 1 o'clock. This is office hours. More of like a advanced kind of high level topic. Today we're talking about if your Airbnb account gets flagged or banned, what to actually do. And then Wednesday, kind of housekeeping Wednesday at 6 o'clock, we're doing STR Q&A every single week. Get your questions answered. This is my way of giving back to my lovely community. All right, let's get into it. Once again, if you have questions on any of this or just specific STR hosting, things of optimizing listing, making more money, let me know in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer it live. So today, without further ado, don't ask me what that means. But anyway, so this was a very interesting topic that came up. I had a gentleman reach out to me saying he had his account banned. He had no idea what was going on. So I'm going to kind of go through the story, what we found out, and kind of a plan of action of like what to actually do, right? So this will be once again a very specific scenario. But if you're in the scenario, there is no info on this anywhere whatsoever. So hopefully this will be helpful to everybody. Hopefully you never have to watch this video and this is useless forever until you actually need it. Hopefully the SEO gods help you find this info. So let me kind of take a step back. For this specific investor, he had a decent, a small portfolio, was doing like decent revenue, probably, I don't know, $250,000 a year, like a decent workflow. And then out of nowhere, his Airbnb account, not listing, entire account got banned, which is very, very scary. Like, holy crap, like your entire business goes down immediately overnight. So you never want to be in the scenario, but we, through like trial and error and a ton of research, I wanted to kind of report back to you guys and give you my findings of what he found out separately. And then what I've used my, network and in groups and things like that to really dive into how all this works from a host perspective. Airbnb and no other like influencer guru, like I haven't found any video that really talks about this in depth. So I'm gonna kind of go through that right now. So imagine this: Airbnb, you log in, check your bookings, check your reservations, and then your account is flagged or banned. The question is like, holy crap, what do I do? So long story short, and understanding why is probably step one. That's probably what I would do immediately, because that dictates what the next moves are. I have kind of a plan of action of like what to actually do once we have deemed that it is completely dead and it wasn't like a false flag or a false suspension, which happens all the time. So everybody's going to have a little bit different opinion about like what to do and how to really manage this. This is just my kind of 2 cents. Once again, do your own research. Everybody is entitled to their opinion and process and whatnot. But so step one, understand why. Like ask them why. Call Airbnb, message them directly. Like, hey, why was my account suspended? Like have them give you the answer on why. This specific scenario for a student of mine, potential client of mine, it was due to the fact that he was linked to an account that got banned a year prior for pest issues. So not even really, I don't know how bad it was, full disclosure, but it didn't seem that bad to where it's like, holy crap, your entire listing, your entire account is completely banned. So that was step one, understanding why. So that took about a week, maybe 2 weeks to really figure out and dig into, okay, this other account that I was linked to a year ago got banned a year later. So that was the tie back together. So the notice was something along the lines of, this account is banned because it's too tightly linked with another account that was banned prior. So that naturally should raise the question of like, how are those accounts linked, right? I've got 6 ways that I think actually 2 of the 6 are the ones that actually linked those together, and what to actually do if that ever happens to you. So step 1, understand why. And then if we I'm just going to assume and kind of tell the story of like this account, both accounts were banned at the time, and then they were linked. So the question that I think is like, how do you unlink those and completely separate everything so they're viewed as completely different accounts? Because there are times when hosts, like, there are things that just happen, like the roof caved in and flooded and our account got suspended. Like, it's not like this is a hypothetical scenario, but it's not like you had anything to do with that happening. It's just like sometimes at these properties, like, crap happens, right? And you have no, like, it's not neglect, it's not, anything that you could have prevented. It's just like it's kind of damage control at that time. So understanding one, like like stuff happens, and there's at times, if you have enough properties and enough scenarios, like, you're bound to just run into one of those and you're like, dude, I can't do anything. I didn't cause this force of nature to come in, collapse the roof and ruin your load of laundry or like whatever it is. So when this happens, it's more of like understanding why and what's the plan moving forward. So kind of the link to kind of go back to the original was this account was banned because of a reason. I don't know if it was outside of his control or not. Honestly, doesn't matter. But it's making sure everything is kind of unlinked and separated. So you're talking to 2 different islands versus like one mainland, and potentially getting everything in trouble. So kind of the process that I see is the 6 different ways to have accounts linked, and really like what to do for them. So I think probably the number 1 is the bank account, just because it is very easy to track a bank account, because like you got accounting, routing and accounting numbers, and they're very unique. Like, if you are sending multiple accounts money to the same bank account, like, they know that they're tied together. It's going to the same bank account. So setting up a new bank account is probably the easiest and best way to do that. Another way that they'll kind of triangulate and do this, I think all this is done by AI, by the way, which is not very good AI, but the EIN, social security number. So that's, once again, a unique identifier for the properties. I think these are probably the 2 biggest factors that they look at. Phone number, changing the phone numbers, that's easy. Go to Open Phone, go to Google Voice. Like, you can get 2 different phone numbers relatively. You can get them for free, honestly. Email, same thing. You can get a new Gmail spun up in 5 minutes, and having both of those. So it's really just segmenting everything into one. The IP address, this is something that's a little bit nerdy. I'm about to nerd out on you and show you a little bit of my tech background. So your IP address is your unique identifier from your computer or any way on the internet. So it's like, I don't want to get too much of details. You've got an internal IP and an external IP. Your external IP is like what the world views you as. So like, I've got an IP of like 123.68.47.280. So it's a unique string of numbers that anywhere on the internet, they can track this IP back to my household. Typically, it's like a static IP per household, and you always have that IP unless you move from like Spectrum to AT&T or vice versa. Or a workaround is calling your internet provider and saying, hey, I want another IP address, which is actually possible. I had a conversation this week with somebody who has done it. So you can do that. You can also do like a dynamic switch where every time you log in, it gives you a new IP address. I think it is like an upcharge to do that one. Or you could get like a static one that is completely separate from the one that you had earlier for the account ban. So it's really just segmenting everything into one. Another scenario, this is actually something I didn't really think about, was like when you log on your phone, right? Your phone also has an IP address. Now, I don't know if your phone changes IP addresses. If you're like, in one location and you move to another location, I think it'll stay the same, but you want to just completely separate and make sure that. So this is something that I'm not sure. This would be a phone call to like Verizon, AT&T to see if you can change your phone IP address. Because you don't want to do two of these and then keep the other two the same. Like you wouldn't want to get a new bank account and a new EIN and keep your phone number and email the same. It's not smart. If you're going to do one, you should do all 6 of them. Yes, I know what you're saying now. This will take a decent amount of upfront work, but it is worth it if you ever need this. Megan, great point. My VPN has a travel internationally. Yes, VPN. I actually forgot to add that one. That should have probably been number one. That's an easy way to change your IP address dynamically. You can just pick where you want it, things like that. So that's kind of how to change the IP address. Once again, some legwork, but it'll be worth it if you want to get back on Airbnb. The MAC address. This is honestly, I don't know what this is, but in high level, your computer has like a hard-coded MAC address. Like your computer has one unique identifier. It's called the MAC address. So technically, they could also track that. I don't think they do that. I think that's a little bit too advanced for their people or AI over there. But once again, if you watch this a year from now, I could be definitely wrong. So changing your MAC address, which AKA this is a new computer. Once again, can be a pricey expense, but if you're in these shoes, could be worth it. So those are kind of the 6 different ways to hedge, having different accounts. And if you ever have to create a new account, the kind of legwork to do that, from what I see, the best way possible. Megan, let's see, device ID. Yes, that is another one. Yeah, device ID. I think you're talking about the MAC address, pretty much the device ID. I think. Let me know if I'm wrong there. But I think if you did all of that, I've got a very good feeling that if you can successfully, just check off the list there and you go to set up a new account, I would probably do it in like a coffee shop or have a friend do it, or, your wife, like partner, whatever it is, completely segment it and then start to like add the listings to the new account and see if it triggers anything. Once again, this is probably hours of research. I have never personally had to do this. Knock on wood, hopefully I never have to, but those are the steps that I coached him to do. And then I would actually do them myself if I ever needed to do that. So any questions on any of that? I know it's kind of high level, but want to kind of field some questions on this subject, because it sucks. Like it is not a fun place to be in. It's very, man, I've talked to hosts that just had like no true story about, hey, a guest, complained about X, Y, and Z. It's completely false. Like I have proof that it's false. And Airbnb always sides with the guest. So you're kind of putting a rock in a hard place a lot of the times, which sucks. What do you think about starting with 2 accounts across a portfolio? What do you think about starting with 2 accounts across a portfolio? I think it's a good idea to do it. We actually do this currently. I don't really have any evidence to back it up. It makes sense logically for me of like try to hedge your bets as soon as possible. Now, actually, I have a related story that will probably help this kind of shed the question. Is we have inherited listings over the past, and we had a listing where we had the same property on 2 listings. They were old listings, like years old. So this is probably not relevant now. I think they were probably already created, so it didn't create any red flags when we had duplicate listings. But it was under the owner's account and our property management account. So they were both kind of live in parallel. Luckily, we found it and we closed down the old one. But there was a point in time where we had duplicate listings that didn't get flagged. I think it was because they were already under the radar. Like they were already listed, like it had reviews and history, and this was years and years in the making. So that's kind of what I think now. Now I have seen recently, I've talked to a lot of hosts in my community that as soon as they have like duplicate listings, like you've got a list at 123 Main Street on account A that was, maybe the prior manager's account, and then 123 Main Street on account B, which is like your account. I've seen them flag that very quickly. As long as you can kind of provide documentation on why that listing is correct, like a for sale doc, like if this property was sold by this person to this person, and you have like the deed, the title, you have like utility accounts in your name saying like, hey, I purchased this property. Here's my closing docs as of this date. That should do everything immediately. A new management agreement is another really, really big one. So like if the prior manager fired the old manager and you take over a new listing, you can send in the management agreement of like, hey, look, we took this listing over, and this is why there is a duplicate listing. Unlist or delete the old listing, and then this is the actual live listing. So this is where we need to be taking bookings in the future. So Megan, long-winded answer, but I think the context is really important here with why I do like multiple accounts across the portfolio. If I ever change my mind, I will do another like video training on this, because these things change way too often, and it's pretty scary, honestly. So I will report back if there's any like follow-up questions, or you have specific scenarios and you don't want to put them here. Shoot me a DM on Instagram at Caleb W. Shore. Happy to help. Happy to jump on a call and kind of see if any of my experience can kind of help you guys out. If you are not like, subscribe, comment.